Oh, for fuck's sake. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I forgot to connect my iPhone up. Oopsie daisies. I am so lost in this game. Uh, Pardon me. I don't really know what I'm doing at this point. Not that I knew at all, but... Oh, yeah, I was in Volcano Manor. Shit. I do know what I'm doing. It's been a while, though. If I remember correctly, I was running past this area to go fight basically the same lava dragon that we fought like in the mountains to get here. There's a really annoying like snake guard. There's the sussy little snake thing. Get into the cage. Pray it doesn't notice. There we go. Hey Joe, how's it going? How you doing, bud? How's the old Valorant treating you? Snake jazz, hell yeah. Alright, is this bastard what we're dealing with again? But he's an absolute pain in this area because the floor is already lava. Okay. Oh, that was close actually. Apart from the brain rot, it's going good. Yeah, brain rot is always sucky. How come you got the brain rot going? Ow. Boy. Like in particular giving you the old brain rot? Sit. No. Thank you. This area is so unfair to fight this thing in. Like, we're already fighting on its natural habitat. Its natural habitat happens to be something we can't even stand on. I had enough trouble beating him on his own without the terrain penalty. Shit. I didn't realise he could just pull it back like that. Ooh. Hashimoto, hello! How's it going? Nope, please. I will sip. And you will sit. That's not sitting, boy. Bad, bad. Like, yeah, I knew I recognised the name, and I read your username out and then realised, oh shit, that's Blake, isn't it? Because I looked your Twitches up the other day, because, well, when we did the... Actually, last night. What am I saying the other day? When we did, in Dying Polite. Ow. And like I read your name and it clicked and I was like, oh yeah, that's Blake. Shit. Oopsies. And there goes my runes. That's 22,000 of them. So I have to keep doing this. What level am I? I'm about level 50 odd, I think. Have a look-sees. I play Fade, so I do a round, start a round recon, and then I mark enemies in defense. The homies on the other side just plant their asses on the other side. Yeah, that is Valorant in a nutshell. I'm level 55. I can't remember which one's Fade. It's been a while since I played Valorant, and characters are pretty forgettable for me. Like, if they weren't base game characters or one of the few that I played, like, their names and who they are just completely, like, out the window. Fuck that slug. Might just be able to rescue the runes and get out this time, at least, though. I want to tussle with that snake. That snake is a bastard with that whip. We're in a level 80 to 100 zone. Oh boy! Well, this is just how where I ended up after, like, through naturally progressing. Like Blue took me up the mountain to get, essentially it ends up eventually leading here. This is just where it sort of naturally takes you, so... That's on the game. Like he's not coming, so... Maybe I can try and beat the odd whip snake and go the other direction. I ran this area several times, not realizing there was a the glacier that I'm spawning at now until like the end of the last stream. Ow! I find that whip is so hard to read. Like, I've not been finding this area too bad. There's really nothing this way. Is it just I have to go past the Dragon Boy? Hello, buddy. And you go. How is everybody doing today, though? I won't lie, I'm in like brain shutdown / brain rot mode. I don't even know why. Just I did a little bit of editing, which I didn't even do much of. I just basically skimmed through half the footage I need to. 60 areas of the lake and the underground aqueduct. I've kind of already done the lake. Problem is there's just not enough shit. Ow. I need to go recover those. There's just not enough shit to do in those areas. Mega brain rot, but almost done with my work. Like, the only things that in that area left I can do, I'm still not a high enough level for anyway, like doing the dragon in the lake. Because the lake just fucking lake dragon just one hits me. Thank you, Blake, for the follow. Welcome to the Horde. Need 3 more weeks to catch up in 5 days. Why is my brain taking a long time to process what you just said? Mega brain robot almost done with my uni. Only 3 more weeks to catch up in 5 days. Holy shit, that's a lot of work to catch up on. Vigor issue. I've been trying to improve my vigor. It's so minuscule, and the dragon is just solidly one-shotting me. And even if I fix my vigor, like for that level region, I'm only going to be I'm just going to be 2 hit. So, speaking of which, for a single level, let's go. All right. The dragon's somewhere around here. Let's go see the 60 vigor staying for you. If this is a level 50 to 60 area, for me to have 60 vigor, I would have no stats but health. That ain't feasible. If that's the case, this game just built dumb. Yep, I've done 4 weeks already in the last 4 days, so a week is worth in that sense. Damage comes from weapon upgrades and ashes, bruh. And I don't know what to tell you, Chief, because even when upgrading my weapons, it's barely anything. The progression system feels scuffed and weird. I don't really see the point of having a stat system if you're supposed to literally put all your stats in health anyway. Like, what would be the point of having stats? I've done 4 weeks already in the last 4 days, so a day is a week of work, if that makes sense. That is still insane, Blake. good luck, honestly. Like, fingers crossed you will have an easy like a nice big break afterwards. Because yeah, I'm surprised you're not burnt out, to be honest. Where the fuck is that dragon? Is it? You don't have to. It's just the mana. Just make a one shot. Can't do damage if you're dead. I mean, true, you can't do damage if you're dead, but if you're also not doing any damage, it doesn't matter how much health you're gonna have if you've got to spend like 2 to 4 times as long in the boss fight. It's a bit of a column A, column B. Like, the longer you're in a boss fight, the more likely you are to make mistakes, which will then result in your death that way. I don't know, it just seems weird. And again, Souls games are weird. I kind of liked Sekiro's progression for that, because there's no worry about it. It's just, oh yeah, you've got that far. You have those stats. This whole area is designed for that stats. You can't just, easily wander off into an area where you're completely outstatted. Oh, got a rash. Let's go. You can at least heal from a cut. True. But most, like, even without upgrading Vigor, most bosses are only two-shotting me. Just dodge. Lamau. I don't know. The physics existence as well kind of helps, but this one I found yet another grace. Yeah, Dark Souls 1 was okay. Sekiro will always be my favourite Souls-like game. Fast, fluid, and structured. And yeah, I still never beat it. Speaking of the dragon, I found you, little buddy. Come to slay said dragon. I would like to be able to target something, video game. You. Parry Souls, yeah. Saying that I will always mention it, but I know someone who beat the game. He played all the Dark Souls games, no problem. Couldn't get used to the parrying for some reason in Sekiro. So just decided to dodge his way through the game anyway. It's like, I guess that works. They haven't fixed Bogtown frame issues with the remaster. Anyone here play the remaster? Oh, okay, so the wing just isn't a hitbox. Very cool game. Very cool. Because I played through remastered and the frame was fine throughout, so I think so. That's good at least then. I genuinely did not know what that fire. Well, I knew it was fire, but like I didn't know if it was going to be like that other flame breath attack which I was in, where I couldn't actually see what was flame and what wasn't, and I somehow managed to avoid it. I will say, soul bosses which have to have 4 different lock-on points and you can only hit 2 of them fucking suck. It shouldn't be a thing. Shit, ow. Blue Sippy. We're doing surprisingly well against this fucker. I should have healed really, but I was feeling hopeful that I would be able to get by with just the healing ticks. Dragons just sucking out. There is a lot of enemies like this. It's not just dragons. Dragons are ass, but there are multiple types of enemies which are all have these stupid hitbox systems. Like it's quite reoccurring, and it's really fucking annoying actually. Like, you know, with 5 or 6 of these games being made at this point, you would have thought that that was a lesson they'd kind of learned. You're doing pretty well against this fucker. You never say you're doing well in a Souls game, it comes back to bite you very fast. Yes, it does. Like me just wasting all my mana. No more, because he'll fly away, probably. Also wasted a shit ton of time on our magical spell. Ow, okay. Oh, that was a complete fuck up. And that's a fuck up. It's something they did to make crit points on large enemies. I feel like there's probably a better solution, considering the game wants to default lock onto the point that you can't hit 90% of the time. Much prefer one target per stick. I don't mind if it has multiple target points. But 4 is excessive, especially like when it doesn't want to lock onto the primary target point. That's the main issue. But head, it will always be prioritized, and 90% of the time it's the head that you can't not lock onto. Magic resistant but weak to pierce. Okay, so like I'm basically useless against this is what you're saying. Got it, Chief. Enchant it with anything else in your preferred. I have nothing else to enchant it with. Can we just give it the old shiv and skiv? Dragon grease? I've probably got some, I don't know. Well, I'll probably just fucking die instantly with it. I say about, like, not using, like, RPG players not using items, but in Souls games it's the only one where I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking use my items, because you're just gonna eat shit and die with them on, and then be screwed with your only strategy of beating it. I really wish Armor did take out a ring. It really works off her stats. Poise. Yeah, Poison's the only thing which does anything, and Poison's not... Honestly, but I know you'll disagree with me, Joe, but I think Poise really isn't all that useful. Like, for the trade-off of how slow any of the high Poise gear makes you, like, unless you're running a strength build, the ability to get, like, not be knocked on your ass when hit is really not that much of a factor when most things 1 to 2 shot you. And on my replay, the crafting became vital. To be honest, I've never used the crafting. Hell, the first time I played, I didn't even get crafting till way later into the game. What have I even got in my inventory? Ironically, mostly magic grease, fire grease. I don't even have dragon grease. Oh wait, dragon grease, there we go. Okay, where is the dragon? Why am I stupid? There it is. Alright, let's give it a go. So if I'm a little salty tonight, I've come into this with like a headache and I wasn't really in the mood to be playing this game. But I decided I'm going to push through with my schedule anyway. Why not use the horse? I could chase it around with the horse. I did in the past, but I'm really bad with the horse combat. And if I've got to get up and personal with it anyway, it's just easier to be on foot for me. Like, I can do more damage faster. Come on, buddy. There we go, you got down from there. See? You don't need to fly anywhere. Also, welcome, by the way, Killer Owl. Ah, yes. Fucking love the camera angles game. How can I... Where am I supposed to fucking go for to dodge that? You can't see that when fucking locked on. That's why it's got the headlock on, isn't it? There we go, my grease has already run out. Bollocks. How about you? You can use it when he's less far away. That's true. But he's rarely far away. I will read your big ass message in a minute, Joe. Unfortunately, my multitasking skills are not good enough to hit both at the moment. Have at V. And out of stamina. I hope you like fucking magical knives. So one of us has to. What's happening, buddy? Where do you think you're going? What the fuck do you think you're doing? There we go, horse cop. Bastard flames. Wait, you little shit, get down here. That's right, I was talking to you. Alright, that was a bit embarrassing, but... Fucking, This thing's flame attacks, man. Oh god, this is gonna make me salty. Well, thank you, horse, for taking the hit for me. Fucking... God damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use the horse now, because he will not let me stab him. Which I don't blame him, but still, it is kind of a nuisance. Oh, now the wings are hitbox. There we go. That's because you do 50% more damage to the head. To be fair, the head is the only time to track the projectiles a bit better as well. When he's up in the sky. Or not, the camera just won't look up high enough. Cool. My horse can jump over your stupid tail, boy. Yeehaw! Skippy-I-A-O, fucker. 41 poise to endure a dagger light hit, 53 to endure a dagger two-handed, 50 most PvE enemies attack without flinching, 1 poise to... That's a lot of numbers. Hey, Dragonheart! Won't be using that. Good job, easy. Good job. Oh, fucking... Okay. So that is the dragon down. Which I think marks everything other than the tiny dungeons in the area. I've already killed the big dragon in the Crimson, because you can cheese that boss. Oh yeah, there's a key or there's an item there, isn't there? Have I done Carrier Manor? I don't recognize the name Carrier Manor. Dead wizard, good. I hate these guys. Up left of the lake. Set. Oh wait, there's not the key. Yeah, I snuck past the dragon once and grabbed it before. I completely forgot. You mean this place? No, I was heading towards it and I ended up going down here and all the way up there instead. I guess that's our next point of journey then. I've already done the underground, what's it called? So, just for reference, we've gone around here. I got to, I think, where you do the fight for Radahn. Except I couldn't get to like the fight because I couldn't get past the guards. Don't know how I did it in the past. I've done the study hall. Like I beat that. You went all the way down into. How do I do the underground? We've done all of this area of it, and I couldn't figure out how to get back into that bit again. We did the boss down here, the ancient beast. Done the anthill stuff. There's some online maps for places to help me clear up some areas. Renala. Which one's Renala again? I don't. I play this like once every week or 2 weeks, so I forget a lot of information. I really need to turn the fucking ray tracing off as well. It makes these areas unbearable, like just drop down into lagginess for some reason. I was gonna say unbearable, but it's not unbearable. It's just an inconvenience. You go for dramatic. Are you invisible men? Was he? Oh yeah, we've killed her. Like we're in the what I call the aimless dick around phase of Elden Ring, which is when your clear goal is gone and you're back to endlessly dicking around again. With no sense of direction. Like, I already bypassed the gate, or the elevator, so there's no point doing the elevator stuff. Really. I'll open my map. There's another well leading underground. I swear I did that underground. The only way is up at this point. That is true. Oh, hello, Mr. Giant. Oh, and there's a, fucking Grace. Let's go. Oh. Let's do a quick rest before we speak to the giant. Actually, how many souls do I have? Or runes? I didn't even pay attention to that. Enough for a level up. Good enough for me. I think if you did this area in the area, it's the red area next to the starting area. I had me looking for guides because I kept getting lost. Sent to the DMs. Oh yeah, you sent me a map in the past, didn't you, Joe? I will have a look. I'm assuming you sent it to me again. The red area is stupid and high level, and I hate it. I only dick around to do the I've already run in and done Radahn and kill the cheesy boss.
What brings you here?
Oh yeah, the river well on the very right of the picture.
Oh, I am E.G.
You're a blacksmith. That's cool.
Serve the Carian royals. An old codger who refuses to retire his rusty hammer.
Self Caelid is your next place. Oh fuck! I have to go to Caelid. Really?
On this spot.
Caelid is Krongo though.
These bones are old.
But Krongo. Fucking Caelid feels harder, I don't even have the items to, like, upgrade any of my stuff anymore. I can purchase them here. What do I need? Not even somber stuff. What about bollocks?
Oh, watch out there. When I'm absorbed in...
Skip Caelid if you want that area, ain't really mandatory. Yeah, I fully intend to skip as much of Caelid as... Hello? Good sir. Who the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Okay, guess we ride. Play a game of dodgeball. Jesus Christ. Yeah, because every time I go into Caelid, it feels harder than fucking Lava Manor, and if that's supposed to be like 20 levels above where I am, and Caelid's supposed to be on par, then what the fuck is Caelid? You find the grind in Elden Ring stupid as it feels like you have to have a good grind rate. You have to be in an area that kills you in 2 hits. True. That's why I don't grind, I just bumblefuck around. This is the highest level I've ever been in the game. And is ironically also the least progress I've made in the game. Okay, apparently if I step out these gates I will be missiled. Wait. Oh, this is Hansville, isn't it? It is. Hello, Mr. Hans. That in range? I can never tell. The only safe way of telling when your magic's in range is if the enemy's already stabbing you. Excuse me, Mr. Hand, it's not about you, it's me. I think the issue with Elden Ring is that a lot of content is hidden dungeons and bosses, and you miss a lot by following the core path. I hate this, so I've not seen that, but I hate it now. It's only giant hands. Could be worse. It could be like spiders or something. The thing is with the hidden dungeons and the bosses, like the hidden bosses, genuinely, this is my personal opinion. I think that's when Elden Ring is at its worst, is when you're in those dungeons. Like, there is nothing I hate more than half of the dungeons in this game. Because they are just filled with annoying enemies. They're annoyingly long. And most of the time they give you dog shit for it. Move like spiders, my skin is crawling. I'm sorry. You're not gonna like this area. There's gonna be a lot of these fucking hands for a bit. But this has something to do with... It's worth it in the end because you get Rana, I think. Like, you can speak to her after this. Safely say you won't be getting the DLC? That genuinely surprises me. Because you've played for this game quite a lot. How come? I'll get Armored Core for 6, but the engine issues are escapable. Ah, fair. I know I definitely won't be touching Armored Core. I just don't have any interest in it. I think a long time ago, Brandon showed me some Armored Core and got me to play it, like some of the other ones. I can't say, like, the game's for me. To be honest, I've learned most of the time FromSoft games aren't usually for me. That's why the game's fun. It forces you to explore. I don't mind the exploration, I just think the dungeons are, like, mostly ass. Like, I feel like they're just basically, like, the game throwing a handful of its worst type of content at you. And then, repeatedly doing that. Yeah, I'm glad you're not forced to do them, but unfortunately so many of the main sections do repeat that kind of behaviour. It's... I think one thing I will say with it, FromSoft games, the amount of people that like will just run through areas to skip them after X amount of times is really telling that the areas are just kind of annoyingly designed more than fun. That's my personal take on it anyway. Obviously, if you enjoy that, you know, fucking power to you. For me, I think it's just incredibly telling that, like, so many people skip through that stuff. Okay, I'm not following that. I know that leads into a trap. See those thingies. Like, PvP is now my main draw for Souls-like games, and it's a perpetual thing, but being able to toggle invincibility for an entire engine, it's not fun. Yeah, like, I don't think Souls games, like, having a lot of PvP is one thing which has surprised me, like, learning about. The Souls games are pretty flawed, and I'm surprised, like, such a big PvP community's come for it, but I guess because the community's so hardcore with this game, that I shouldn't really be surprised with them, like, doing anything to extend the content out, in that sense. Like, to get more content from the game. Outside or inside? I can't. Inside. Good. I want to see the gameplay of the new Armored Core, as I love mecha games, and I loved those games as a kid, but the trailer looks like a Souls game, so I wonder how you on that. I barely remember much of it. I remember that I know there's a lot of customization in it. As much as I like mecha stuff, to be honest, for me, I've never found a mecha game which scratches my itch. Phantom Forces was cool, but it unfortunately got incredibly repetitive and stale because you like the gameplay from when you first start and like the level of combat that you're performing versus the gameplay that you're still playing like 10 hours later is exactly the same. And as cool as the simultaneous turns, like perfect knowledge combat system is, there's not enough customization in the game. And apparently the game has now actually been abandoned, which is a shame because the melee system is broken and doesn't work properly in the game. Which sucks, because Phantom Forces was really cool. And it had some really cool, like, or really fun style cutscenes. It has binders. The hands have cuffs. Like, I've played BattleTech games. They're pretty fun, but I don't know, just like, ow! Hey, crew! You bastard! How's it going? Like, MechWarrior Online, really cool, like, from a control scheme kind of perspective for me. Way too much stuff to, like, dissect through with how inbuilt the community is and how grindy that game is. Dying right now? How come you're dying? Why you died, son? And, yeah, Titanfall was the only mech game which has really scratched my itch, and Titanfall was ruined, so... And we probably won't see a third. It's tragic, really, because Titanfall is one of my favourite shooters. One bozo is reporting 100 fish mail per 5 minutes. Jesus Christ, you poor soul. How is he reporting that many phishing emails? How is he even getting that many phishing emails? Titanfall 2 is, yeah, brilliant. Sadly, you need a client to play multiplayer nowadays, because apparently it is completely unplayable multiplayer now, thanks to that one dickhead who's been progressively attacking the servers of both the first and second game. I really like... I know a lot of people think the first game was quite flawed. Titanfall, I was a big fan of it. It is flawed, but I think... I'm glad that they have gone for, like, specialized mechs, because that was one thing I was asking for. But I do still miss the standardized mechs. Like, I think that it would have been cool to have both sets of them. I know that the medium Atlas mech is still a thing. And it's actually the mech that I usually play the most because it's the snowball mech. I think the aging of a game is a big issue, especially AAA. Yeah, AAA games aren't lasting long, and unfortunately Titanfall just didn't get the support. didn't get the support I wanted, and now I'm very. From everything I've heard about the new Star Wars game, I'm very concerned about the state of Respawn, because they were kind of like the last bastion of like EA like owned devs who were like still able to have their own voice and juice decent stuff. But the new Star Wars game has sounded pretty rushed and botched, so concern there. Did I rest at a grace back there? Or did I have a grace back there and I didn't rest? Am I dumb? She says she's getting like 2 mils per second. What the fuck has she done to be targeted with that much phishing emails then? Either that or she doesn't know what a phishing email is and is now scared of everything. The main thing is obviously is there's not going to be a lot of customization as modern games take up so much, e.g. Dragon Ball games too so much content and characters and now new games custom. Yeah, it happens with so many games. Yeah, I think like what was it? With how much graphics are being pushed up, obviously that's adding a lot more development time to it. That's not a complete defense to it. Obviously, customization should be a priority, and if your game is working with like requires a lot of customization to fulfill its game loop, you should step back your graphical requirements to make a way for the game to function. But also with games now expected to essentially serve be relevant for the next 4 to 5 years, for the company, usually through expansions and other stuff. But they're usually just rushing to put out like a base game they can add stuff to later, which is not a good model. Financially, yeah, I get why they're doing it. Doesn't mean it's good. I wish they would stop doing that. But hey. That's the most efficient way to make money right now. The thing is, the new Star Wars games is great. I love it. Honestly, the things I've heard about it, even when the performance issues were fixed, is it was just kind of a bit empty, and the story was kind of just like really grasping, and I don't know. I've not heard anything great about it actually, which surprised me. It didn't exactly launch in a good state either, so two not good things. But if you're enjoying it, hey, that's good for you. You've made a good choice with your money there. If a game reaches 5 years old, it's likely falling apart due to lack of support or hacking. Yeah. I mean, I'm still surprised that Titanfall is the way it is because of essentially one person. That is a terrifying thing that, honestly, that Respawn didn't fight that is more concerning. They gave up immediately, as far as I've seen. Disney were banking hard on Jedi Survivor. Quite surprising. I mean, I'm not surprised. Some of the other Star Wars games announced, weren't they, basically, it's been revealed since then, when they announced them, they didn't even have a plan at the time, they just did announcements or something. And that, Disney is just throwing everything at the wall with Star Wars right now. I 100% did it. The last fight story was felt like a letdown compared to. Yeah, I think Survivor would have been fine. This is going to come from someone who's not played it and who now no longer has any intention of it. So take this with a grain of salt, obviously. Star Wars Survivor probably would have been fine if they'd focused on another character than Cal, in terms at least from the narrative, because Cal's already had his loop. I have seen some interesting, they've added more lightsaber stances, which are different fighting styles, which is cool. I think that's quite fun. That's a good way to spice up a single weapon fighting system. I know they had that with the double-ended lightsabers originally, and I think you could two-hand them. I can't remember, it's been so long now. But I've seen they got the cross-guard stance now as well, which is a slow, heavy attacking stance. I think that's a neat thing. Normally they treat games as separate things to films and TV. I think a lot of companies are realizing that there's potential a lot more long-term benefit with the games nowadays through DLC without having to be like, what's it, like there's less risk in it. Like I don't know how to word what I'm trying to think. Like if with a TV, it's a like production, you've got to get all the exact same people together for a new series. Like you need to be able to hire your main, and that the production cost for it may go up because the guy running it like may want a higher pay wage at that point for, you know, like selling a show for that long and things like that. Like I don't think a TV's production cycle is slower than games. It's probably faster, but it's still like, I don't know, it's awkward, and it sounds like a lot of TV and films, special effects industries are kind of being a bit all over the place right now in terms of quality, and I don't know if that's like a staffing issue or burnout issue or what. With the games that, you know, you've already, if so many people have bought the game, you've already got a rough idea of what your target audience scale is, and you can work out, like you can work out, you know, how many people will buy the DLC kind of thing. And depending on the type of game you're doing, of course, we have soft subs, aka battle passes nowadays, and selling cosmetics and things like that. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do to earn money off of it, like tack on monetization, without the excess risk. And from a brand perspective, they probably want to unify everything as well, which I wouldn't blame them. It does make more sense to unify your brand, so it's less of a confusing mess for people who want to get into it. Like, as someone in the anime, like who likes anime, it's not unusual for people to say, you know, there's so much content and it's so confusing for an anime. Like, how do we jump in, kind of thing. With the new Star Wars game, it was more bad guy. It was more the bad guy felt. That felt the last fight was a good bad guy, but he wasn't the last fight, and the true last fight felt like. Did they really just pull like another? Not seen the prequels, but you know, they basically, you know, pulled out like bait and switch the bad guy, didn't they, or something with it, essentially. Like the primary antagonist, should I say? Like, did they really pull that again? People just be adding twists for the sake of twists. Andor was phenomenal, and that had next to no impact from Disney. I'm genuinely curious how much impact they had on Jedi Survivor. Snoke, yeah, that's pretty much what I mean. Wasn't it set up to be? I don't know what his name is. The guy who has the crushed sword, which malfunctions. I don't actually know his name because I said not seen it. Not a Star Wars fan as such. Ooh, hello. Saying that, Star Wars has a pretty banging tabletop minigame, so like good props to them there. Subverted expectations, yeah. There is a lot of like media doing like twists for the sake of twists now. It did before they added the new shit. Is the new shit bad? I don't keep up with it because I don't collect it, and all I've seen from it is a board game challenge channel I watch did a video with it, and I know they have like Mandalorian and Grogu in it, and they did a match with that, but they did like a silly gimmick match where both sides were fighting over like rescuing Grogu, and like we'll be able to bring in like, what's it called? Reinforcements like constantly, which was a really cool idea actually. We're talking about Star Wars Legion, Blake. Boba Fett as a melee rush character. What the fuck? Like, I may not know much Star Wars, but even I know that's a bad idea. Why would they do that? Like, Boba Fett is like... I mean, didn't he fucking like die really quick in the movies or something? I genuinely do not remember Star Wars. I was there for cool clones and droids at Obi-Wan. Something happened there with that giant, didn't it? See, it makes more sense for me to just hit him and go for the weak point. Quick heal. Almost gone. Oh. Big magic dice. There we go. Down he goes. I wanted to get Star Wars Legion, but I don't have anyone to play it. Blake, do you have Tabletop Simulator? So, because they bought in Book of Boba Fett. Oh, that's a really weird choice. Wait, isn't Boba Fett already a character in it anyway? Like, didn't they have like a because of the prequel era or sequel or primary line? Like, wasn't he already in the? Yeah, Blake. I'll play some Legion with you on Tabletop Sim if you want. Tabletop Sim actually has a genuinely very good like mod for it. Yeah, if they've got a variant with him in the original trilogy, I mean, you know what? Then that's fair, I'd say. Like, if they want to bring in like the newer content in to like for fans of the newer content and have the variations for them, I don't see there's anything wrong with that, honestly. Yeah, like, I get it. The newer content kind of has, unfortunately, pissed over old canon for, like, Star Wars fans. But in terms of, like, for a tabletop game, to be able to, like, keep having that content stream is good for them. It means more additions, which means, you know, more, like, refined rules. And, there's no harm in them having a variant, honestly. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Ah, this is a fight. I know TTPS is great, just don't know why my friends don't want to play it with me. I mean, you know what? There are people who, like, just aren't interested in tabletop war games, or aren't interested in the specific themes of certain tabletop war games. And that is, like, you know, it's not for everyone. I desperately want someone to play, Drop Zone Commander with me, but there's no tabletop sim variant for it, and there's no one local, let alone you know, is interested in playing it. So, which is fair. Like, I'm fully aware I won't ever get to play that game, but I'm fine with that. Ow. Nice. I grew up surrounded by water, he says to a water vendor who he then robs. What? Yeah, I grew up surrounded by this shit. This is mine now. Fuck you, bitch. Bring in IG-88 and that gang. Is it? Shot in the dark. IG-88 is a robot, right? From, is it Rogue One? I'm probably wrong. I recognize the name, but I'm not sure why. Shit. Badass assassin robot, not Rogue One. Well, at least I was half right. I'm thinking of K2SO. Wouldn't know. So I don't watch Star Wars. I just remember... I remember the name IG-88, and I remember people talking about, like, a cool robot in Rogue One. And so I just connected the dots. Where is IG-88 from then? Original trilogy. Would he have shown up in the Clone Wars series at all? Maybe a variant. Okay. Is he one of those ones which is the ones which they got like the cone for their head, which has like the fucking weird traffic light signs? No, it's the Lego packs in the Lego Star Wars games, like the weird collector block things that you found. Ow, that was rude. You are very magical, sir. I do not like how magical you are. How am I supposed to... IG Jones, the Clone Wars. I sent you an image. Okay, let me just open that up on my phone real quick. Since they're Lana Jones, cylinder heads with spinning eyes to see if you see... Ah, yes, I know the type. So I would have... Yeah. Okay, it looks really goofy in the image Blake sent me. Yeah, I remember the assassins and droids because I remember them showing up in Clone Wars, and their interpretation could be anything from kind of cool to absolute chumps. Which, to be fair, happens with all types of media. Like, power consistency is way less important than narrative, narrative themings and importance. Fucking stupid horse, man! Get off your high horse, bitch! I'm not allowed my horse in this fight? You're kidding me. That feels illegal. Oh my god, just hit him! Fucking... It hurts to hear you say that. Which bit? Wait, wait till you fight the actual Lorera and not some fucking ghost. Oh, I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate it so much. Yeah, power scalings are 100% less important. Like, you can't break your power scaling completely, but there are times when the power scaling needs to take backseat for the narrative. At the end of the day, shows media's that is a like a driving force for stories, and the powers are part of that, but they're not the story. A theme can fall apart because of power inconsistency, but it's rare for a theme to be based solely around its powers, and the powers are usually usually metaphorical for themes and tie-ins. As sequel trilogy is less so much the powers being completely overruled and an entire universe's rules being overridden. There's a difference between power scaling and universal rules. Like power scaling is like, oh, this character is more like, you know, shown to lift 50 tons, like, with no issue all the time. But like in a situation where it's narratively important, he might not be able to lift 50 tons for a reason, kind of thing. I was literally seeing a tweet actually today about how Star Wars, with just the holder maneuver alone, completely shat over its own universal rules, which invalidates everything else in the narrative. What I'm trying to say, Joe, is your power scaling and system is not entirely is not your entire story, and anything that runs entirely based on just your power system alone is not is it's probably not going to be very narratively fulfilling, and is going to have a hard time being surprising or interesting when like there is like no wriggle room. A narrative moment can be way more impactful when the power system's able to take a bit of a backseat and be softer. Like a hard power system can do more to harm a narrative than help it in many cases. Like if it isn't able to be flexible enough to adapt for moments needed. I'm not saying like Aspel like 7 Deadly Sin level kind of change the rules whenever you feel like it. You gotta have hard rules in your system, but your system has to be able to bend when it's needed to for interesting moments. That's just a challenge being a writer. I don't think so. There's so many moving parts and interpretations to a story. A power system is, and your power scaling is entirely a driving force to give people perspective. And an insight into what's going on narratively in the story, I believe. Yeah, I'm not advocating for violating its own rules. I've explicitly said otherwise, Joe. But, like, your power scaling is not... power scaling and rules are not the same thing. I fully disagree with you there. Scaling is not part of any rule set. Scaling is trying to give a quantifiable measurement of of how strong something is, which is kind of a false statement because how strong something is dependent on variables. It's not a vacuum for the rest of the way. No, they're hand in hand, but it's not the keyframe. Here's right. Put perspective for this. So for anyone who is interested in One Piece, heads up, spoilers for Dressrosa arc. For the next minutes or two. In the Dressrosa arc, there is a villain who is ridiculous, who is quite strong. His power literally being tied to his narrative, with him being the string user because he basically puppeteers people. One of the characters in the fight against him has, in universe, one of the most powerful fruits in the series, the upper fruit, which allows anything from being able to bypass defenses to teleporting objects and people around at will. In theory, nigh on indefeatable fruit. And the dude gets his shit beaten because he has narrative ties with the character which completely throw him off his game. So, by universe rules, and by power scaling rules, there is no way he should lose that fight. But he's losing and struggling and needs help, because it ties into his whole narrative about letting people in, and relating to his whole story and arc of about abuse and power, not power structures. What's it called? Manipulation and perspective of oneself and power. That is this power system taking the backseat to allow for a narrative moment. The whole maneuver in Star Wars, where it's just like, yes, this by doing this, it invalidates any decision making ever previously known. Especially including one of the most iconic moments, destroying the Death Star. You would disagree that it's taking a back seat in the example. No, it's fully taking the back seat. His broken power is like basically completely stopped being used. Like that is the actual definition of the fact that he should never have been able to lose that fight because of how powerful his fruit is in comparison to be like being ignored for the fact that it has way more narrative impact for him to not do so. I think right as I go with high power systems, kind of realised that hardships with it, and they were using it a lot, learning new stuff for Harry Potter, Dragon Ball Z, actually. Yes, Dragon Ball Z is Dragon Ball is the king of reusing content. I'm gonna say it. Like every story or arc ends up with just a new fucking version of Super Saiyan. I have a lot of problems with Dragon Ball as a universe. I'm glad people find it fun and enjoy it. It's not very well written and it's not very consistent. That's no problem with that. I think One Piece would really be considered low power system because she said the story is more and the system is limited to the powers you have. There is an expansion onto the system like halfway through the story, which stops things from being broken, but Oda, the writer of it, is very good at tying in his narrative meanings into his power system and knowing when that power system needs to take a back seat for more important matters. His character arcs are considered more important than the than how hard someone can punch kind of thing. It's not, it's quite common for a lot of his characters, especially in the later half where villains are a lot more developed, because the early villains definitely aren't particularly developed. They're force of nature-y styled villains, which could be argued as a weakness, but for like where they were at the time, I think was the strength of the series, and then moving towards these more like narratively built up villains is like been way more important. Has been like paid off for the long term. It gave it because the early focus was more on the Straw Hats themselves. Oh yeah, the Dragon Ball world I have issues with as it's starting with high power, but yeah, you chose to change it to low power, and you just can't do that in the same story. Super Saiyan and stat boost at this point. Yeah, like Dragon Ball doesn't have stakes either, like except for the Tournament of Power, which is the only time they really were able to add stakes. I think because what stakes is there to a universe where a character can just be revived as many times as they want? Like, Dragon Ball is like pure power fantasy, and if that's what you want, then you know it's perfect for it. But I think past probably like probably past Cell Saga. Like, I don't know what kind of what they've even got going on at that point. The focus always ends up being on Goku and Vegeta, and there's only so much you can only keep with a character like for so long if they've got nothing to develop to and no real goal. Also, hey, cop-out stories with power systems, aka Black Clover. I like Black Clover, but yeah, it definitely isn't the best. Whole devil stuff is kind of weird. I'm not a big fan of that. I think they could have done more interesting stuff with Asta's devil powers in terms of for the narrative. I don't think. I don't know if they're even going to flush it out. I have an inkling of what they're going to do, but I don't know if they're going to A, have the runtime left to flush it out, or B, like, be able to pull it off effectively, like this late into the story. Bear in mind, I haven't seen any Black Clover since the anime stopped 3 years ago now, I guess it is. Because I've been waiting for the movie and I haven't read the manga of that show, so... Why am I doing really weirdly well on this one? How do I hit that crit spot? Okay. That was weirdly easy that round. Just sort of blood set. Shit. The issue with that power system is you have a world with a high power and only one person that can just say, haha, no power for you. Have I missed something in the story? Is that something that comes up later on ahead? Because from what I've seen and what I've known for the most part, obviously everyone's born with their own type of magic, and they're kind of hard capped by the size of their book. Is basically tells you how much maximum potential you'd have in your in your spell set. Where do I go from here? Is that it? Is it just beating this thing? Remember. How much runes do I even hold on me right now? I should have hit use select a number. I hate this system. I will... In a world with anti-magic, I will give credit to the writer to some degree in that when I read that synopsis too, that I was outside, I was hit awesome, thanks. I 100% expected him to just, win because anti-magic every time. One thing to be fair is in their universe there are a lot more magics which are able to defeat it, and what it means by anti-magic in their universe isn't like the kind where it's just like, yes, it hits the weapon, therefore it no longer does anything kind of anti-magic. It's more like, well, this sword just kind of blocks magic and can disable assistant cast spells like runic circles shit. Like, I will give them some credit on that, where it's not like a complete a complete counter, because there's people like Julius with time magic who can completely counter it. There is Finral's brother with anti-matter magic, which can just fucking evaporate you regardless of your anti-magic. There's the Red String of Fate, which is able to affect you regardless of any magic or anti-magic. Like, it's a weird, I'm not saying it's good. I like Black Clover because it's dumb fun. Fuck, it's a dragon. But the power of the anti-magic was not what I was like what I was led to believe initially. I am 100% with you though. It's not a great premise. With them like playing it that it's a devil's power, and the devils seem to have like incredibly strong magic in comparison. I think they're trying to play it as like it's basically a devil's civil war, and that Asta was supposed to be a pawn in it or something, or just like a really angry like devil that hates the other devils. I think that's the angle they're going with. I don't know. I've not seen it, like, devils have only been relevant for the last X amount of time in the story. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to develop it, and if that's what they're going to do. I think it's a bit late to start playing that angle. Do I not need to kill that? I guess it's gone. Actually thought I think I would have actually beaten that thing if I had to fight it too. Yeah, okay, right, I think all those magics you talk about it, stuff to counter Asta, I'm not sure the writer had that in mind. I don't know, and I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I will say, like, I don't know if you've seen or watched any of it, like, read or watched any. From pretty early on, like, his sword was basically used like a giant baseball bat early on, able to bounce some magic back, and essentially it's just him having a very big blunt object to whack people when spells with. Like he breaks through some barrier magic and that, but it's only whatever he can touch with the sword in the first place, and like, I do think having anti-magic as the power is kind of a dumb one, but at least they didn't I think they didn't write it to be like an OP anti-magic, where it is just literally, oh yeah, your magic, all gone, bye-bye. So up to the end of the Elf arc, and to be honest, I hate the story, right? Yeah, that's fair. As I said, for me, it's definitely like a dumb fun show. The moments I liked the most with it is when it was groups of characters collaborating to achieve something. But they definitely shaft a lot of their side characters. Like one of the characters has just disappeared to like go off and do his own training, and then there's been a time skip, and then serious events have started, and he's just not shown up. And I genuinely don't know if they've forgotten he exists. But there's a lot they could do to improve. Oh, there we go.
A tarnished here.
Found the waifu.
You must have some business in mind to come all this way.
Not a clue. Fort's empty.
Inking thee an invitation. No reason in particular.
I'm glad that no reason was actually an option.
Then mayhaps fate hath steered thee to this encounter.
If fate is a person named Joe, then yes.
Enter into my service. I am the witch Rani. I stole death long ago.
Fate with the elf, they just brought the demon in again. Feels like a cop out, and I felt that way with the story too. Just feel like you forgot stuff or ran into issues with the system. Yeah, you'll find a lot of running shonen writers seem to forget a lot of stuff. I like One Piece writer Oda has actively admits he forgets stuff and will go back and watch his stuff. Or was like super thankful for like the fan wikis for like logging everything.
Well made. Thou art a rare sword. Not many will.
Yeah, low power systems can be really fun and interesting. Something like Avatar's system, for instance, because you can set a lot of groundworks of like, you know, ifs that you don't have to follow up on, like with the different types of bending beyond the main four elements, like Atlas system is like a really good example of like a good soft power system, and the way that they built up the potential of the other bending systems as like a natural progression of it all was pretty good. Sorry, what was I supposed to do with Rani? I didn't really listen to her. I don't listen to the NPCs in this game. Get hit on the head with a rock, wake up in avatar mode in time to save the world. Okay, how do I get hit on the head with a rock?
Good. There is, in my service, a half-wolven warrior by the name of Blythe.
I don't think I've met Blythe yet.
Join him in searching for the hidden treasure of Nokron, the Eternal City. I have called for Blythe to greet thee below.
Okay, it's good.
Take from him the particulars. Ah, and there wilt thou find Egi, my war counselor, and Salavis, preceptor in the sorcerous arts also. Heed not their peculiarities. Feel secure in gaining from them.
Yeah, bloodbending was canon straight from the get-go.
I'm sure the others will be doing just the same.
It was a implied natural progression for waterbending. Admittedly, the only reason it's tied to the moon is because that waterbending in general is tied to the moon. Now the sequel series, fucking that seemed ridiculously OP. I mean, yes, but it's also only OP on one night of a month, essentially.
Arcarian Royal, I'm told that I will give you.
I will. You. Like, I'm not being funny. Every system. Why is it tied to the moon plisms? Because waterbending, like they do literally tell you this explicitly in the show, that waterbending was learnt from the moon and is to do with the moon spirit in the universe. With the teachers of the teaching of waterbending came from the moon originally, just like how the Badger Moles were the earthbenders teachers, the dragons were the firebending teachers, and I don't know what air's teachers were, actually.
The Eternal City of Nokron lies somewhere at the bottom of this land. I'm planning to go below through the well in the Mistwood. See if I can't find
like bloodbending is like a really like specific, hyper specific skill when every element has ways to instantly kill you regardless anyway. Like so like is like really strong in context in certain conditions. Same with like well, what's it called?
I'm going below through the well in the Mistwood. See if I can't find. Don't keep me waiting.
Let's go to Mistwood, do I? With what's it called? Words. I can't think of the words I'm thinking of. Yeah, it can be done without a full moon, specifically thanks to the sequel series. That unfortunately, just like with Star Wars, they made a fucking sequel that can't be that like shits on like parts of the story, where they had a specific guy and his family able to bloodbend without a moon. I used to be trapped.
I see. You must be Rani's new hireling. Yes.
Like in the original story before they made Legend of Korra, bloodbending was only able to be done by the done on a full moon, and was only able to be done by 2 people.
In a provincial tarnished like you. But since we have the misfortune,
And as one of them
I ask
like characteristically hates using it, and the other was an old crone, bloodbending really shouldn't have been passed down and continued on in the story.
I reside in another town. I come and pay me. Should you? If it were up to me, I. But who am I?
Like Legend of Korra did a lot of damage to the rules of the series.
I'm going below. See if I can't. Don't keep me waiting. Eh?
We've got what's it called? Like what bloodbending was set up perfectly as a progression from like how they revealed it from the crone who taught like showcased it off the first time, showing off how you can pull water from anywhere, and even earlier in the series they were using creative sources of like gaining water, such as sweating and that. Air and water are probably the most scary in battle, but as it's low power, safe as you can just stop someone breathing. Oh no, they 100% do that in Legend of Korra 2. They straight up kill a character using airbending by basically pulling all the airs out of their lung and preventing any air from getting back to them and suffocating them there and then. The only reason airbending was never scary originally is because the culture behind airbending was pacifism. Don't forget that what's his name? Monk Yarnu was surrounded by all those dead firebenders on the night of the comet where they were the strongest. So according to the writing, if you train enough under a full moon, you can use the powers exclusive to the full. What the fuck? See, there's a reason why a lot of people don't like Legend of Korra. Korra did a lot of damage to the series. Original Avatar, really well done. Legend of Korra just made no sense. They just threw whatever they wanted at it. The Avatar, you gotta deal with it. You know what? I've seen some defense of that line, and you know what? I'm inclined to go with them. It was a good... Unfortunately, it was a good showcase of exactly how different a character she was to Aang. Them basically being complete opposites.
I shall soon enter and it will be some
But it's still a terrible show.
Body is not without its hindrances. Still, I have high look.
She's now getting married. Yep, I'm 100% with you. I do not like her. I have seen 1.5 seasons of it. I just don't find it interesting. I saw it before I watched Atla, so as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned, Legend of Korra does not exist in terms of narrative for about to say Legend of Zelda, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Sorry, I've got to... He says he's going to be below the well. Is this below the well? This place called Below the Well? I've seen it all, and yeah, first one was better. Yeah, first one had themes and, like, really, like, they played out their build-up to the different powers interestingly. The original writers and staff are working on more content now. They're doing a prequel film, I think, about Zuko. Or, like, it might be a sequel film about Zuko. They're working on another series with the next Avatar in the cycle now as well, who's an Earthbender. I'm excited to see what the original writers made Korra, didn't they? No, I think there was some production staff changes at that point. I think some of the writers were off doing something different. There might have been one or two of the same writers, but I don't think it was the full team. Right, where is... Sorry, how do I do this next bit, Joe? Find the fucking wolf man. Really? Is it all the same writing stuff? I'm genuinely surprised. Korra was a dumpster fire that didn't match up with anything thematically from the series. Because they were going about and writing comics and that all for the first series still, which didn't do anything to destroy the canon. It'd be good to see the Earthbender side, as Earthbending is one of the biggest nations, they always seem to want to spread its borders. Yeah, like, despite how big Earthbending was, I always found it weird that Earthbending was like the rarest type of bender in the universe. I guess that was probably more to be an analog to some part of China. mana request Ivan, sending gate. What? Okay. Well, the cliff sides to the east. Like, am I following the northbound or southbound? Probably answers my question. Southeast, okay. Ooh, shiny. Oh, mate. Rats! May have been the rarest, but the Earth Nation was the front line in the war, and the Fire Nation, so that's probably why. Yeah. That's probably one reason, but I feel like there's probably going to have been some kind of, there's probably some sort of historical, cultural reference there too with it. So a lot of, original Outlaw was steeped with, different, like, cultural and historical references, if I remember correctly. Or it might have just been a way to balance it out, considering Earth is... In terms of the four elements, Earth and air were the two most abundant. With air out of the picture, basically, like, they needed a way to balance out Earth. I know fire could create on their own, but they weren't able to create on the scale of Earth. What are you looking for? Ah, there he is. Could have been a little bit more specific about your location, buddy.
Ah, good to see you.
Kinda hard to help you if you don't tell me where you are.
But I don't have much to report. I can see bloody Nokron right above me. But I'm absolutely stumped. I've tried all the gateways, to no avail. Perhaps it's time to ask Celevis. I recall that spiteful little rat acting like he knew something. Let's give him a squeeze. Show him just how sharp my teeth are.
Isn't firebending just an extension of airbending? You could try to interpret it that way, but not really. Firebenders can both create their own fire and control it. And while the most efficient and best way to bend fire is, what's it called? Like, bend, as they call it, bend, using the breath.
Besides, leave this place to me. If either of us learns anything...
Like, you can, like, it can be powered by emotion instead. Like, they usually, like, for anger and muscle, they power it, usually. Firebending is, to be honest, it's probably more accurate to say that it's more manipulating, like, heating and manipulating hot things. Because it can be made, because a subsection of firebending, specifically, is lightning bending.
Leave this place to me. If either of us learns anything, we tell the other. And if we reach a dead end, I suppose we go back to the source.
I really should listen to the NPCs. Request up here, so I guess I gotta check up that. Like, because waterbenders can freeze stuff, and that's never particularly explained. But I assume it's something it's just tied in with the fact that they live in typically live in an icy environment. It says fire powers draw their firebending from the sun. Blake, do you want to comment on that one? Because I don't remember. Oh wait, no. Wait, yeah, because that's the point. Because solar eclipse is an important event because they can't firebend without the sun. But they're weaker at night, yeah. Yeah, they draw their power from the sun, but they also they learnt firebending specifically from the dragons. Yeah, waterbender's stronger at night because they're tied to the moon. Well, that was a strong gravitational spell. Well, not strong, but annoying. I've got to kill this guy, don't I? Like, Earth and Air don't really have like a specific time when they're stronger or weaker. Doesn't even have... Wait, what is that then? Is that not a gravity spell? Because it's colorized like one. And it behaves like what you would expect a gravitational spell to behave like. That's his sword's ability. Alright, with bending there's lots of subsets too, which is kind of fun. You've got magma bending, which both earthbenders and like firebenders and magma benders, earthbenders can. You got mud bending, which is earth and water. Metal bending, which is just purely earth. Got lightning redirection, which is technically a combination of or it's the principles of water bending with fire bending techniques. Oh, it required. Ooh, nice. Sir, no. Rude. Please, cease. I've already got so many potions. Yeah. There is also combustion bending, technically, but we've only ever seen one person do that, and it's a very stupid skill set. Where the combustion, the one guy doing combustion bending ends up technically killing himself. Vine bending. That's not even. Oh well, plant bending. Yeah. Yeah, water bending has plant bending as a subset, and blood bending as a subset. I think I remember hearing something that earthbenders might be able to do vine bending, but I'm not sure if that's correct. But I'm almost certain that's not correct. Because that wouldn't really make sense unless plants are now suddenly being involved as part of the earth subset. Especially as earthbending has the most subsets, I think, already. Through like metal bending, magma bending, sand bending. How the hell do turtles bestow bending powers? Turtles are gods. They're quite literally just living gods. Yeah, the lion turtles, yeah. Sandbending makes sense, seeing as it's just tiny rocks and all together. Yeah, but sandbending also, the reason it even is its own subset, I think, is because of the amount of control needed to form it. Which is kind of funny because the only people, apart from Tough, that we see sandbending are bandits. Who aren't even particularly smart. But again, also the plant benders aren't particularly smart. But they're basically just hillbillies. So, like, it does kind of weirdly tie in with how bending is more spiritual than anything else. I hope that's what that request was about. Yay, a feature I will never use. Okay, request done, okay. I have no idea what, Live wanted me to do. So, where do I head next? That's a better question. South Khaled, you said before, so I guess we... Well, these subsets is very little, there's very little C as the region of the map. They are small, so it makes no sense. Like, yeah, those are subsets which are, like, purely formed through, like, what's it called? Like, necessity for surviving in those environments. Like, with the plant bending and sand bending, those are, like, both adaptations of living there. Yeah, I'm not fighting you, buddy. I'm on a stroll. I know full well you will nuke me. Fuck izakais. I know glass bending is like one of the theoretical bending types that they came up with for Earth, or like, and it's like a one which fans mention. I think it could be an interesting subset, but benders never really did get a subset. Yeah, actually, that's not technically correct. Unfortunately, thanks to Korra, there is a subset because they did bring the airbenders back. Because of course they did. Like, in the stupidest fucking way possible. I don't know what it's called, but one of Aang's kids' daughters can do like an astral projection, and I think that's supposed to be part of airbending. I wish I was joking. This is actually a thing that happens. Let's see what this let's see what this note says. Gravitational power pulls can bring flying enemies. Wow, I totally needed to know that. But yeah, this weird astral projection thing, I think is a subset of airbending. I've actually seen that part of the show, so I don't know. I've just seen it through highlights and other bits and discussions. Like, I don't... wait, combustion benders can just destroy mountains and rivers. I don't know how extensive combustion power, bending power is, because the only example I've seen of combustion bending was Sparky Sparky Boom Man. And, Other than the fact that technically he was defeated by a pebble, his explosions were never that big or destructive, so... Okay, but even in Avatar, the Air Nomads, or the most spiritual, I don't class that as a subset. Yeah, I'm not sure if that classes as a subset or not. If not, airbending just hasn't received any official subsets. There's a lot of ban ones like storm bending, which makes no sense. So that's just very windy airbending, but like they are basically adding lightning onto it for some reason. I don't even know what kind of subset they could even, like, do with air, to be fair. I suppose you could probably argue that there's some sort of, like, just bending of gases directly. But it really depends, I suppose, on what element air targets. But I don't think air can have, like, a subset which would make sense. The others are all natural progressions because it's like, you know, oh, you can control water. Plants are full of water. Can you control that? Yes. Okay, what else is full of water? Oh, humans. Well, we can control them then. AKA bloodbending. Or, you know, Earth with metal literally having impurities in it, therefore they can, like, control the metal. That seems incredibly big, considering that as far as I was aware, there was something like only technically like 2 or 3 like existing combustion benders in the world originally. And that combustion bending was really just a very dumb specific skill, which is more likely to result in your accidental death than anything meaningful. And also requires like a shit ton of concentration or something. Like, at least in the original series, all we ever see of combustion bending is one single guy, and yeah, as I said, he dies because a pebble gets in the path of the explosion and he blows himself up. Oh no, and he got hit in the head and that did something as well. Because combustion blending requires like a lot of concentration and you standing still, and basically imagine trying to shoot mind beams that explode, but it takes you like 10 seconds to channel your mind beam. Which when everyone else is in a fast mobile system, it has its disadvantages. Whatever power they're putting from the wiki almost certainly comes from fucking Korra again. Combustion bending really isn't. It's the Ataweki. The universes are tied in because they're the same universe. And unless there's something in the comics, which I've not read, like, it's very... I check. Like, there's a very big possibility that they're just pulling, like, whatever powers that are coming from, Korra into it. Because it's all technically canon at that point.
Oh, a pleasure to... I am Gari, a great sage.
Like,
In my day, anyway.
at the very least from the show, there was nothing like that.
A favor when one of your ilk came along. A strapping young tarnished, able to cross the scarlet swamp of Aeonia. Don't fret, I'll provide fine recompense. Should you accept, I will teach you the secret of Celia, the town you see there.
Sure, you went weird, man.
Willing to lend a hand, are you? I
don't think I need to know that this town is rotted to fuck.
Young girl. Her name...
Oh, this is the one which I have to get.
You will find her beyond Senna,
fucking golden needle for, isn't it?
perch atop the cliff, stricken by the rotting sickness.
The only thing I can think of a subset of airbending is speed. The thing is, anything which would be a logical progression of like what you could do with air doesn't make sense outside of like it being just airbending, or is like a physical force, like pressure or speed, things which you couldn't bend. What bending is doing that? Because there was certainly nothing like that in Atla. Base firebending? Base firebending, fire always comes from the bender itself, and if they heat anything, they physically are touching it to heat it. Never once have we ever seen anyone being able to remotely light fires or as far as I remember, no one's remotely lit a fire at all, or heated anything remotely. They've always physically had to be in contact with it, or shot flames at it. That's a big beetle. I already don't like this area. Oh, fucking magic nerds, except these ones are ghosts. Fucking ghosts! In my haunted town. Get the fuck out. Wizard War! Bro, where is this shit? I know it's coming from the Atla Wiki, but where did, I want to know where this source came from. I'm starting to think that either something weird has happened in the comics, something weird happened in Korra, or people are literally just making their own fan theories up and just fucking adding it to the wiki, like what's happening with some of the Terraria wikis. He ran? Who the fuck is he ran? Like, do you know that name? I'm tempted. Right, I'm actually gonna fucking tab out and look this guy up. Who is? No, I know who this chick is. She is, Wait. Wait, no, what? When do they ever have that happen? Wait, no. Do we even... What series is this from? Boy. Okay. Okay. This is from books. This is from the books about Kyoshi. Because, the firebending avatar, instructed to the avatar doesn't narrow that down. I actually had to work that up, and backtrack the source. Which means that's set like 200 years before, Avatar The Last Airbender. No, they're not an avatar. They're an instructor to the. They were the instructor to Avatar Kyoshi for firebending, and she was the headmaster of the, or headmistress of the school where Zula trained. Even though that was basically only mentioned in name once in the series, we never actually saw the school. So I genuinely don't. I don't know what's happened in the books. Wait, no. It wasn't even the teacher for Avatar Kyoshi, it was the teacher for Avatar Yun, the previous Airbender Avatar. Yeah. Yeah, if it was the fucking Avatar, it'd be a little different, but the fact that it's just some random teacher from hundreds of years ago just pulling out. I get that was probably before, bending powers were segregated, because by the Avatar The Last Airbender, so Yang's era, bending is actually segregated to some degree, because, it's a pretty big deal that, Uncle Iroh creates, the lightning redirection technique by incorporating the cultural, way set of water. This can occur involuntarily. What does that mean? Unfortunately, this is starting to sound like at some point they started trying to make Avatar a hard system by incorporating all these special techniques and things like that. Yeah, that checks out, Blake, because it went Yun, then I don't remember what his name is, but we see him in the show. He's the good dude who basically just doesn't want to do the job and spent most of his life surfing, and then his girlfriend got killed by spirits because of it. Then you had Kyoshi, and then you had Roku, and then back to Aang. Concussion bending is a thing. The fuck is all this Man. They really fucking dumpstered the fucking Avatar universe, didn't they? I'm just glad that the film they're working on is in a time which is going to make sense. Because fuck knows what they're gonna do with the new Earthbender Avatar, seeing as everything they've decided to fuck the world by combining the spirit world with the regular world. Smoke bending. I remember smoke bending was a fan theoried one because of what you see Roku do on the island before he dies. But I also remember it was argued against originally because it's just airbending, pushing smoke around. Heading in the wrong direction. Yeah, I mean, Korra already kind of threw out the window that, she, for a waterbender, she had a very quick natural grasp on firebending to the point where it was actually one of her better bending techniques. Which was stupid, and I get it's because of her personality, but they shouldn't have made her the water avatar. They should have probably had her be the next fire one or something, like long past Aang's era. They still don't actually explain what happens to half of the gang. Like, Sokka just fucking dies, and it's never explained, really, like, other than vaguely that it was something to do with protecting the new Avatar. And Suki isn't even mentioned once. Like, they're gonna have a really hard time doing a new Avatar either way, because I just don't know what the fuck they're going to be doing now. The universe is getting weak, like, is already stupidly high-tech, like, by Korra. The fact that they got fucking mech suits and shit like that going on. Like, and no, I have a bad feeling it's going to be set in Republic City again. Because it wouldn't make sense for it to be anywhere else because of how that universe treats avatars now. No, they fixed that. There could be, I swear they fixed it so that there could be more avatars. It's just that the original Avatar cycle, like all the knowledge and connections of all the previous avatars was severed, effectively killing Aang, Roku, Yoshi, Yun, and all the others. What are they claiming is the subtype of smoke bending? Well, what is a smoke bending a subtype of? Because I can't see that being an airbender, because they only really made murderous airbenders, like, in Korra. Firebending, okay. That is dumb and feels like it should have come up, like... Right, it doesn't even, like, make sense in how, like, with any implication of how firebending works, so... Like, Avatar's soft power's strength sort of came from, like, as long as there was, like a logical connection between application and how, then it could be done. Guys just killing people at a tea shop while being chased for a city by an earthbender and the police. It's kind of funny that they, I guess it was in the time before, like, they had, just the full-on earthbending police squad. So it reset then all bending should be hard to learn. What should be seeing is Aang learning all the bending made the show. Unlike Korra, who had 3/4 of the bending and about. Yeah. Like, hell, Aang hadn't even mastered all the bending forms when it was his time to go in. Like, he only really mastered, like, water and air at that point, as such. And even then, what's her name? I feel bad that I can't remember her name now. Because I keep thinking Korra, even though it's not. Sokka's sister. I really hate that. I can't remember her name right now. Yeah, because she was even, like, by the end of it, she was a better, waterbender than him still, despite him having mastered it. Which I kind of liked. Because Toph was, like, even, like, to the end, Toph was always a better earthbender. Like, those who were in their specific elements, they were basically, was still better than the Avatar in that sense. And, what are you doing here? Kind of just riding around cluelessly now. Yep, giddy up, giddy up. Ba-dum. Ooh, fart clouds. Swamp of Iona. Cool. Ahaha, there's something down here. I think we might have been from here before. Yeah, we have. Okay, those just guys would kill themselves. Awesome. I've been down here before anyway. Maybe not, because there's... What the fuck is this? Oh, but it has an item next to it. That is kind of scary, actually. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I think because the avatars split because, of course, they'd be more powerful depending on the cycle lands, but they'd have to practice each other so much more than they wanted. Yeah, the avatar ultimately has like all its knowledge and the avatar state. Airbenders can just fly and walk on clouds. That is true, but it's like very few airbenders can do that. Most airbenders fly via using a glider or a kite and basically using airbending to power the wind for it. The only airbenders who can actually take flight are those who abandon all their worldly connections, essentially. It's like, basically, they reach the ultimate stage of spiritual enlightenment. Really not that worthwhile for the amount of work that you can do for it. And you can technically lose access to that power because of the way you gain it too. Or airbender can just fly. I'm pretty sure there was only one airbender in that, unless they've changed all the rules again when they reawakened all the fucking airbenders. Because I know there was the airbender villain, and it was literally when his girlfriend died, but he finally unlocked the power to fly because his only connection to the world then severed. Do you know what? I'll give him to that. That is a nice story beat in its sense. There's a cloud city. What the fuck? Unless that's from original Avatar's timeline when the world was literally very different, where the elements were like different city elements were completely segregated, and like they basically lived in like pseudo heaven style world. Oh yeah, the guy who taught Korra was the original Avatar. Back from when the world was very different, and like that guy was the origin story for the Avatar. It kind of pulled like an Adam and Eve kind of situation with that, I think, if I remember correctly. It's like him doing that basically caused the world to change. I will say I do like the art style change they chose to go with for like telling that story. Like they didn't have to change the art style like they did, but I really appreciate them for doing so. Guy who taught the evil bender? Nobody taught the evil airbender from what I was led to believe. Like he didn't have any bending powers, he spent all his time in prison, and then when all the airbending awakened, because he was just basically a massive fanboy nerd of the airbenders. Like he just because he studied like all the fucking airbender fucking cultural shit. Knowing the to be fair, the knowing of flight wasn't the issue. It was actually achieving the spiritual state for it. Aang couldn't achieve it because of Korra. Like, he couldn't even... Korra? Fucking Katara, that's her name. There we go. Because, he couldn't even achieve the full Avatar state on command because of his connections to Katara. Cloud stuff. I mean, Aang does fuck around with clouds, but I'm assuming being able to walk on clouds is also relevant to, like, the spiritual connection. Either that or it was just a fucking hand wave for them being able to actually move around in that time when the Earth was literally, like, living on the cloud cities. Because those don't exist anymore in the timeline. Like, those were entirely, like, ancient, fucking, like, basically pre-Earth. Aang had air teachers. Monk Giano. Because Aang is a master of air by the time the story's already started. Like, he's already a master airbender. That's why he has the tattoos. Like, hell, he even created his own airbending technique, which is the air scooter. Yeah, as for living on the cloud cities, I can only just assume that's back, as I said, like, when, like, from what I saw, because I've seen the animation for it and that, they live in, like, I think that was probably, I don't know if there was, like, a split between the spirit world and the actual world, and that's, why no one lives on clouds now. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have a feeling it's probably something to do with that. Because, that was when the spirit world was still connected with the actual world. Which means that the physicality of the world might be different. Because the spirit world behaves completely differently.
Welcome. Yes, right this way.
I met you before.
Welcome, valued colleague.
I don't think it was a good idea for them to do a story involving the first Avatar. I think that should have been left a mystery. Like, their desire to explain everything in the universe, I think, did harm. Again. It's a really bad choice when your universe is set around spirituality and like that you to start trying to quantify and justify everything so precisely, because it starts falling apart. Blake, actually, something to give you a heads up on. I don't know if you know about it. There is a Avatar RPG, like a tabletop RPG. And it's actually pretty good. It's like a pretty soft system. We not see the lion turtles anymore. I mean, we technically see a lion turtle in Atla. But... and that is, it definitely was there physically. I don't know if spirit turtles can just fucking walk between the two worlds as they please, though, because they are gods. What do you mean wait, you've seen all of Atla, right? Or are you talking about the RPG? I think the whole clouds, yeah, is just something to... yeah, I'll send you a link to the RPG in a minute. I ran a trial game back when they were doing the Kickstarter, because they had a trial set for it, and it's pretty good. It's like a very creativity-based system. Like, not sure about Ala. Yeah, because basically, like, before the finale, while they're training on the island, getting ready, Aang goes missing one night, and he ends up sleeping on the lion's turtle's back and having a dream/conversation with them. That's where they get energy bending. Conveniently, what Joe brought up. Energy bending is a direct gift from the lion turtles, and it's essentially just how they managed to give bending originally, or take away bending initially from people. That's Aang eventually uses energy bending, in the end to seal Ozen's firebending. Because Aang's whole decision was, big thing, and like decision that he had to make was how he was going to deal with Ozen, whether he was going to be able to find a passive, a way which goes with his passive morals, or whether he was going to have to do what he didn't want to do and kill Ozen.
Please, I can read them. Your thing.
And energy bending is risky because you involve basically throwing your own. It's basically spirit versus spirit. That's that one. As long as one person can energy bend, they can unlock the ability to give anyone energy bending. I guess theoretically, potentially.
One for festivals.
I know it can seal bending and unblock that seal.
To the south.
But I don't know if it can give people bending that they don't already possess. Is it in canon? Do they actually give energy bending to anybody else?
Into the heart of the scarlet rot.
Korra gets it because she's an avatar. It's connected literally from the avatar spirit, as the avatar is essentially one person just reborn physically over and over. Hence why any avatar can use the techniques and skills of the other avatars once their physical body has kind of put up to be able to bend. Like, the avatar is like its own little subsection because it is just one continuous, like, almost hereditary spirit. So, like, my favorite avatar making a world, seeing the map of the avatar world is kind of tiny for a world, yeah. It does feel like it should be bigger, but she gave energy bending to 3 different people. What the fuck happened in Korra? Why did they shit the bed so much with that story? That is actually embarrassing. I am so mad. Energy bending is really dumb to give to people because it's incredibly dangerous. You would not want more of that existing in the world. It's incredibly risky to the user and really powerful to what they can. Like the fact that they can just seal their bending, which for some reason can be done thanks to blood bending technically, but as a whole nother fucking kettle of fish. I guess it's someone you could justify it as chi blocking already exists and it's like an advanced form of that. But freaking hearing about Korra is just giving me a bigger headache. Honestly, man. Well, bloodbending was only temporary. It's just the effect lasted so long, most people thought they'd lost it. Wait, is that really how it played out in the end? I thought it was played off as well to be like Korra was basically reset. She unlocked airbending from it, but she was gonna have to like relearn all her bending to like pull up reestablish herself as the Avatar again, like a reset to 0, so that she can have more of an arc kind of thing, and play into the themes of like the fact that like, because one of the themes of Korra was about equality in a with class-based systems like the world that they'd formed. The fact that non-benders weren't able to access many types of jobs or were treated worse because they didn't have bending powers. That seems like such an easy thematic like win they could have had, which would have like, because I will admit Amon was like, as a villain they played him pretty well. Rot is going to be a problem with this fight, but in terms of the long-term narrative, it's clear they shit the bed. And what happened? Why? I can only clutch my pearls and pray that this all happened because they were forced into making a sequel they didn't want to or something originally. I want to clutch my cope pearls, say, there's hope for, at least with the prequel stuff, or like with the stuff related to the original Atla gang. It'll probably be solid because the comic series is generally well received, so I'm gonna need a big old fucking copium bottle, please, and thank you. My god, just hit something! Gonna have to fight this thing on horseback, it's the only way. I think Korra's downfall was the big time skip tech to it. Honestly, the level of tech progression that happened in that world was insane. It went from feudal era with some weird, like, contraptions that were made possible only thanks to bending, like with the mega drill and with the firebending quote unquote tanks. And they went full on to, like, Industrial Revolution society. We got cars, blimps, fucking, you name it, we've got it, kind of, like, including really sophisticated advanced stuff like mech suits and that. Considering, I get that, like, forklifts were coming about as, while Aang was a young adult, but that's still, like, a hell of a insane, like, tech power scaling. This. I never understood why they did it, because for the most part it didn't even equalize the bending non-bending gap, except for like whenever they wanted a specific group of like non-bending villains. We're out our horsey for a bit. Really, not moving was somehow the most effective way of dodging that. That's kind of funny. Gosh. Give it up, gas bag. Fuck. Well, that's me done, then. I don't think I can beat this thing before the Scarlet Rot takes me. It's actually really annoying that its stomp adds Scarlet Rot. Sippy, and back in. Take that, you stupid dragon. I hit you in the face, didn't I? Ow. He did not like me calling him a stupid dragon, did he? Ugh. Pain. I don't know if I'm not... I don't think I'm probably ready for this fight, to be honest, but... Let's go back to the round table and let's have a quick look at like, if I can upgrade my armaments at all. I just be getting worn out. I had a headache going into this. I've got a worst one. Still don't have... I want... Strike, Chilling Mist, Bloody Slash. It sort of kind of fits the theme, essentially. Either way... Yeah, that's... Going magic is probably the best, though we keep fighting a lot of magic resistant enemies at the moment, so... We can just go standard? Let's go standard because we have our magic enchantment. See if we can buy any more smithing stones or something. I don't know why, but her hair looked weird there to me. She was the twin ladies then. It's not. Stone ones. I think I need like 4s. Bollocks. I need to get more smithing stones at some point then. Just stuck right now. As of equipment upgrades. I think I'm going to wrap that up here for tonight then, because my headache is getting really bad now. And I need a break from this game. We've made some progress though, we've killed some dragons, we've met Reyna. We've accepted her quest, but immediately got confused because I don't ever listen to an NPC. So that's my bad. Right. Let's see if there's anyone to raid, shall we? Let's go say hello to Comfy Ray. 28 years after Outlander. That is not long. for that a city of that scale. Alright, we're gonna raid Humphrey Ray. I've raided him a couple times in the past. He seems like a nice chill guy. He's playing Don't Starve together at the moment, so be nice, say hello. Thank you for coming, and Bike, I will get that RPG to you in a minute. And we can maybe square away doing some Legion if you want. But till next time, guys, I will see you around. There'll probably be a stream this weekend, I just don't know when. It depends on what I'm feeling like, because I want to get some work done. I've got editing for Blue to get done, and I've got job application and looking into some armor stuff, and getting into a bunch of other things squared away, so probably going to be Sunday evening. Till then, though, goodbye!
Nanohound is raiding with the party of five. I saw that before it even happened. I am slick. I got raided again. Yippee!
You got raided again?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, what's up, Nano?
We need frogs. We need
Psychic
frog
raid?
legs.
True. Nah, give me the seeds. We need seeds, bro.
I have 1 seed.
Seeds are not valuable to me because I'm a farmer. I don't know how to get rid of those things, but you know.
Was a miner.
But why
Likes
not?
to
How
mine,
about
and
me?
so it's like, nah.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling, playing some Don't Starve together with my buddy.
I'm his buddy. Hi.
Yeah, that's my buddy. He's interesting, but he's
What
a
the
bit
fuck
crazy.
Is that? What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
You know it. Also, there's a bunch of butterflies over here. Can you kill them?
I'm looking